I was actually astonished the amount of interest came from Minister Harris's announcements. I knew there was always interest in it, but until you start receiving the subtlest expression of interest, you don't realise how much interest the wider agriculture industry has in these programmes.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of The Pig Edge, Teagasc's Pig podcast with me, Amy Quinn, where we are bringing you the latest news, information and advice to keep Irish pig farmers up to date. Last week, Minister Simon Harris announced the launch of 3 new farm apprenticeships. These new programmes mark an exciting stepping stone for both farms and farm staff, allowing the next generation of farmers access to the education they want and need while still working on farm. These programmes will provide a career pathway for our staff already working on farms and looking to upskill, school leavers, or even those looking for a change in career or looking to get back into employment. So on this episode, I'm joined by Marcella Phelan, National Apprenticeship Programme Co-ordinator with the Teagasc Curriculum and Development Standards Unit, to tell us what we need to know about the farm apprenticeship programmes and what exactly we need to do to get involved. I first asked Marcella to give us an introduction into what the apprenticeships are and how they came about.
Minister Harris announced the launch of 3 apprenticeship programmes, and both consortium and industry have been waiting for this for a long time. It has been many years of hard work, but it has been worth it. And through the thorough and professional processes involved with the approval of the programmes by a QQI validation panel has been beneficial to the programmes, and the legislation approval for them was a major stepping stone for the apprenticeships as well. So the 3 apprenticeship programmes that were announced by Minister Harris was the Horticulture Apprenticeship, which is higher level 6, the Farm Technician Apprenticeship, which is higher level 6, and the Farm Manager Apprenticeship Programme, which is an ordinary level 7 bachelor's degree. Also earlier in 2023, the Sports Turf Management Apprenticeship Programme was also announced by the Minister. There is one more apprenticeship that Teagasc has to finalise in conjunction with the Equine Consortium Group to be submitted to QQI, which is Assistant Stud Manager Apprenticeship Programme, which is an ordinary level 7 bachelor degree, and hopefully we will get that to QQI before the end of the year. But I suppose today we're basically speaking about the pig industry, and I have to say from the onset of the approval to develop these apprenticeship programmes for the farm industries, there has been continued interest from the pig industry for these programmes. Members of the Pig Development Department, including yourself, Amy, and your colleagues have been so supportive with the development of these and now with the delivery of these programmes. For the apprenticeship programmes, the Agricultural Consortium Group have oversight over the development of the programmes, the requirements of the occupational profiles, and the delivery and management of the programmes. And consortium members have included industry stakeholders, employers in the industry, graduates of existing Teagasc further education courses, and Teagasc members. And on the Agricultural Consortium, we are fortunate to have Margaret Leanne, a pig and beef farmer, plus continued consultation with you in the pig department as well for the development of these programmes. And with this oversight, the programmes can be monitored, reviewed and developed to meet the requirements of the industry. So it's huge ownership for the industry to future-proof these apprenticeship programmes going forward for the pig industry and the wider farming industry as well. So Amy, that's kind of an overview of how we got to today. So hopefully the next questions will probably give an insight to the potential listeners how to apply and what's involved in the programmes as well.
Like you said, there's been major interest from pig farmers in these programmes, specifically in the Farm Technician and the Farm Manager programme. Marcella, could you talk us through the Farm Technician apprenticeship first?
Yeah, so the Farm Technician programme is a higher level 6 programme. It is aimed for highly skilled operatives on farms. It will provide apprentices with the knowledge and of technical farm operations with a strong foundation of sustainable agricultural production, health and safety, quality assurance, business, sustainable and work organisation skills. The graduates will be able to complete and coordinate daily and seasonal operations on the farm, both independently as part of a team, and to be able to supervise other people working on the farms as well. It's a 2-year duration for the programme. I suppose the eligibility requirements, it is a higher level 6 programme, so you will need a level 5 as a minimum entry into the programme, so your traditional Leaving Cert, or a major level 5 qualification as well from QQI, for example, a certificate in agriculture. But the consortium also realised that in the wider farming industry, there are people working on farms that may not have a formal qualification. So we wanted to make sure it was inclusive for them as well. So the entry requirements for them would be you need to be 18 years or older and have 2 years full-time experience working in the land-based sector, such as farming, contracting, horticulture, forestry, equine, etc. It should be noted that the program is in the medium of English, so applicants whose first language is not English, they just need to ensure they have aware of this, and there's a standard of English required for the program. I suppose the course content, it is a 2-year program. There is 12 modules in total for the program, 6 per year, and they are industry focused modules. So for year 1, there'll be introduction to business and technology of farming, health and safety on the farm, environment and science of farming, quality assurance, regulation and compliance, farm operation skills and work routines, people skills then, so teamwork and supervisory skills. Then in year 2, it builds on what you did in year 1. So you'd have farm administration and business skills, lean management and standard operating procedures, farm enterprise monitoring and evaluation, farm operation planning and record keeping, and then there'll be an apprentice project. I suppose people want to know how many weeks or days there'll be off the job. So for off the job training, it's 10 weeks per year of the program, which is 50 days. 40 days of them will be physically in a Teagasc or industry location, and this will be supported by 10 days of online learning. And the online learning is broken down into 3-hour sessions. For the programs, there's 2 coordination locations for the off-the-job locations. So Ballyhaise College in County Cavan and Clonakilty College in County Cork. So just kind of a comment on the design of the modules in the program. It is a balance between the academic requirements of the standard for the program plus the practical requirements of the occupation. And within the majority of the modules, assignments, projects, whether individual or group work, it relates back to the farm that they are employed on. Plus, it also relates back to the requirements for the qualified graduates, for example, creating an SOP for casual labour for the farm. So it's kind of a summary of the farm technician programme.
Marcella, just for the 40 days off the farm, how will that be broken up? Will it be in week blocks or singular days or a mixture, or how will that work?
It would probably be the first week of it will be probably a full week just to go through induction with the apprentices so they can get to know each other as well. But the majority of the block release will comprise of probably 3 days per week. We hope to design the academic calendar to coincide with the least busiest time on farms. It may not be always possible to do that, but once we have the apprentices and employers registered, we'll have an accurate timetable for them. So there'll be majority of the start of if this was the start of the program would be September, October, and the apprentices would be finished their first year by the end of May with all their contact days and exams, etc.
And Marcella, could you tell us a bit about the farm manager program then as well?
If people want to progress with their education, either from the farm technician or other education, and for people that want to manage a farm, this would be the program for them. It goes through all aspects of management of a farm, whether it's labour management, business management, enterprise performance management, etc. So it is a 2-year program as well. The eligibility requirements then would be your level 6 farm technician apprenticeship program, or your traditional advanced level 6 agricultural courses, which are done in the Teagasc colleges. And the consortium were know that people are actually working on farms and that have a higher level qualification, whether it's engineers, accountants, teachers, etc., that do want to progress their career into farming. So there is an option for those people. So they would have to have 2 years full-time experience working on a farm and also have a NFQ level 6 award or higher to gain entry into the farm level, into level 7 farm manager program. But all that qualification will be screened, and the applicant will be informed if they're eligible to go into the program or not. So the course content for the level 7 has 9 industry-focused modules. So for year 1, it's farm finance and strategic management, health and safety management, sustainable and environmental farm management, farm product quality and operations management. And then in year 2, you have manager skills, economic sustainability and labour management, farm infrastructure and regulations, climate smart farm technologies, and apprentice projects. The same can be said for this program for off the job. The training, it's 10 weeks per year, which is 50 days, 40 days physically in a Teagasc or industry location, and then 10 weeks online. And the off-job coordination location for the Level 7 program is Culloden College in Piltown. Just an overall comment about the program. Some of the module names may be a bit daunting for any potential apprentice when they see them, but the modules link back to the occupation profile, which outlines the attributes of the qualified farm manager. And within the Level 7, and it can be said for the Level 6 farm technology or farm technician apprenticeship program, the concept of knowledge transfer is embedded within the program, where apprentices visit industry locations, where guest speakers come in to speak about the different modules, including researchers, etc. And there is group work and individual work in this program as well. So that is kind of an overview of the Level 7 program.
And the 40 days off the farm will be similar to the Level 6, will they?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's correct. We're trying to ensure that it's the least busiest time on the farm, but unfortunately we won't be able to do that for everything. But like it's to make sure that the apprentice is on the farm when the busiest time is there, so the employer won't lose their skilled labour unit during the year.
Okay, and all these details for both programs are available on apprenticeship.ie, and there's apprenticeship guides, isn't there?
Yeah, there's apprenticeship guides. So there's employer's guides and applicant guides, and there's a brief overview of the modules and the contact times or contact days for off the job as well.
Applications for these programs are now open, but I suppose the application process, it's a little bit different for these programs relative to others that people might be used to. Could you talk us through this?
For apprenticeship programs, it's always about the job. So employment comes first. So like even ourselves within Teagasc, we have to get used to this concept. We usually deal with students first, but like with this, we have to approve. The approval of farm employers is the first stage, which is currently commenced in the last week with Minister Harris's announcements. So this is done between Teagasc and SOLAS authorising officers. So for the farm-based apprenticeship programs, the consortium have set criteria for the farm employer, and examples of this would be compliance with department regulations, environmental regulations, or be it apprentice welfare, health and safety, etc. Also, we'll need information on the nominated workplace mentor, their education and years of experience. The workplace mentor plays an important role within the apprenticeship program. They are the lead person to guide, train, and assess the apprentice. Assessing the apprentice is primarily done in the Level 6 program, and this is done for farm skills. Because the reason for this is because it makes it more authentic. Farm skills are done on the farm, and just with biosecurity, etc., like that, it's not possible for all those skills to be done within the college. So it's done on the farm by the workplace mentor. But Teagasc will provide resources and training to the workplace mentor to complete this role. Once the employer meets the criteria of the consortium and SOLAS, they are approved, and then the apprentice can be registered with them. The approved employer speaks with the SOLAS authorised officers to register the apprenticeship, and it is a paper form that the apprentice gets registered. So it's a new concept for Teagasc, and like when the Minister Harris announced these apprenticeship programs, there has been huge interest in both of the farm apprenticeship programs, and currently 70 farms have expressed an interest through SOLAS for these programs, and there is pig units within that. So we will have pig industry will be very important in both programs, and we are looking forward to working with the employers and the pig units for these apprenticeship programs. So that's basically an overview of the application process for the farms.
Registration of farms is a 3-step process, really. Marcella, could you explain this process?
They need to register their expression of interest with SOLAS, and if they go onto the apprenticeship.ie website, there's a link there for their expression of interest. Once that is done, myself and other people within Teagasc get an email saying they have expressed their interest. We will require further information from the potential farm employer, which is broken down into two parts. There's consortium pre-approval criteria, and then the next part of that is details of the workplace mentor and potential names of any apprentices. There could be existing people working on the farm. So that information is screened by Teagasc, and we will follow up with phone calls or visits to the farm to kind of validate the information. Once that is done, we inform the SOLAS authorised officer and they proceed with their approval process. So they will contact the farmer and complete a visit and complete further documentation with them. But like Amy, as you said, like we are starting these in September, October. So if anyone is interested in, please go to the SOLAS website and express your interest, and don't ignore any emails I sent you if I require further information, because we are starting these in September and we do need employers for apprentices. So it's important that you commence that process.
And it's only after a farm is approved then by SOLAS that the future student or employee can then apply to become an apprentice. Isn't that right?
That's correct, Amy. So once the employer is approved, then the apprentice can be registered with the approved employer. It's a paper exercise. The SOLAS authorised officer who goes out and visits the farm employer will go through that with the approved employer. But basically, it is a paper exercise, and if they have any existing employees that they want to go on the programme, now is the time to probably gather that information for that apprentice registration application form.
And what type of information would that be?
So the type of information would be, they do need 2 passport photographs. They would need evidence of their education qualifications. So example, a copy of their Leaving Cert results or their qualifications, evidence of work experience. So I would recommend for the potential apprentice to have a CV completed, evidence of their PPS number. But the SOLAS person will guide the person through this process. But if they have like the information like the passport photographs, the education qualifications and work experience, it will streamline that process for the registration of the apprentice.
Okay, so they should start getting that information together now.
Yeah, correct.
Marcella, up to now, we've just been talking really about one scenario. So that's where you're a farmer and you have an employee on your farm, let's say, and you've them identified already to be your apprentice. But this won't always be the case, I suppose. But that can be facilitated within the apprenticeship scheme, can't it?
Yes, it can. Like within the industry, like people are looking for people to work on the farm, and like the first point of view would be like approval to become an employer for the programs. And then once the employer is approved, they can advertise jobs on the apprenticeship.ie website. And also they can request for Teagasc to circulate their details to any potential apprentices. And it's the same scenario if a student is looking for a farm for the apprenticeship program, they can go onto the apprenticeship.ie website, check if any employers have set up any job adverts, and they can also contact Teagasc as well to see if there's any list of approved employers for potential apprentices. But the other thing, Amy, like I know like some of the farmers may not get to September with apprentices, but the approval of employers can be done all year round. So like even if you're thinking about it and you think that you want an apprentice for next year, start now to get your farm approved to become an approved employer for the program. It's no harm, because like at least when you recruit your apprentice, you can maybe do a trial with them to see if they do want to work in the pig industry, and give them like some experience before they do join the program as well. So like the approval of the employer is open all year round. So it is.
Okay, and spaces are going to be capped on both programs. So would you advise farmers to register ASAP and avoid missing out?
Yeah, I would. Like this is the first year of the program, so it's going to be very tight, that timeline to commence the programs during September with the approval of farm employers and the registration of apprentices as well. We have informed SOLAS that we want farm employers approved and apprentices registered by week 2 in September. So apprentices can start during September, early October. But like again, if employers miss the program this year, this is still go through the approval process, so we will be ready for the next intake of apprentices.
In both the farm technician and farm manager apprenticeship, the students on these courses are going to be from a mixture of enterprises. Will the students get pig-specific course content?
The design of the programs, both of the programs, is to display best practice science, technologies, etc., to the apprentice. And like this is only achieved by guest speaker, industry speakers, and the expertise of people working within Teagasc. So like currently members of the pig development departments are involved in delivery modules in DKIT, further education courses, etc. And like their expertise will be vital in these programs as well. Like the modules, they may have generic names, but the content of them are like tailored towards whatever industry or enterprise that the apprentice is working in. So I am so looking forward to collaborating with the pig department on the apprenticeship programs and to develop resources and assessments to tailor the mixture of farm enterprises and for the pig elements of the content of the programs as well.
Yeah, and us the same. We're really, I suppose, looking forward to it. The industry's looking forward to it. And it's quite an exciting time for agricultural education.
It is like I was actually astonished the amount of interest was that like came from Minister Harris's announcements. I knew there was always interest in it, but like until you start receiving like the subtlest expression of interest, you don't realize how much interest the wider agriculture industry has in these programs. And like without employers, we won't have apprentices. So like I think both myself and yourself and like the pig department are calling on the wider pig industry to look at the information on the apprenticeship.ie website, see if you have any existing employees that you think you would like to get them a qualification, whether it's the farm technician or the farm manager, and any future people that you want working in your industry for this program. It is work-based learning. You will have the apprentice for the duration of the program for the 2 years. And like it's 10 weeks per year where they will be off the job getting training on different modules and stuff like that. But like without like the employers, we will not have apprenticeship program. But I think Amy and yourself, your colleagues Kieran and all the rest of them, you've been emailing us wondering when we starting this. So like I am so looking forward to seeing employees from the pig industry joining this program, and hopefully like once we get up and running, we can review the contents, monitor what's going on, and tweak it to future-proof the program going forward as well. So I think it's a huge day for the pig industry and the wider agriculture industry as well.
Thanks, Marcella. On that note, I think we'll leave it there. But I think one of the main messages is that if you're interested, really don't delay in registering the farm, even for a minute. So I'm going to include a link in this episode's description for farms to do just that. Thanks, Marcella, for joining me.
Thank you, Amy.
That's it for this episode of The Pig Edge, and many thanks to Marcella for joining me on the show. Don't forget to listen and follow on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast from so you never miss an episode. And for more information from the Pig Development Department, go to teagasc.ie/pigs and follow us on Twitter at @teagascpigs. Until next time, I'm Amy Quinn, and thanks for listening.